I kicked my entitled cousin out of my mom's dream bakery opening. My mom worked as a public school cafeteria manager for over 30 years, 30 long, exhausting years. She scrubbed industrial ovens, dealt with budget cuts, and basically ran herself into the ground just so my brothers and I wouldn't struggle. But her real passion, the thing that kept her sane, was baking. She used to make these incredible, intricate cakes at 2 in the morning, just to decompress after a long shift. When she retired last spring, she took her life savings and signed a lease on this tiny storefront downtown. She spent 9 grueling months painting the walls, sanding floors, and perfecting her menu. Last weekend, it was finally time for her grand opening. We invited the whole neighborhood, her old school friends, and our extended family. My mom was practically glowing with pure joy. She wore this pristine white apron and had happy tears in her eyes when she saw the line spilling onto the sidewalk. It was her special day. The one day in her selfless life that was supposed to be completely about her. And then, right at the peak of the lunch rush, in walked my cousin Brittany. Brittany is a self-proclaimed lifestyle influencer. She has maybe 4,000 followers, but acts like she's fending off paparazzi at the grocery store. She showed up an hour late, wearing a sequined gown to a casual bakery launch. And of course, she was holding a massive, obnoxious ring light. The moment she walked through the door, the vibe just shifted. Instead of buying a pastry or congratulating my mom, she set up her huge tripod right in the middle of the floor. She stood directly in front of the main display case, physically blocking the paying customers from ordering. I let it slide at first. I told myself, just take a deep breath, do not make a scene on mom's big day. But then, she started pulling my mom's oldest friends away from their tables. I watched her corner Mrs. Higgins, a sweet 75-year-old retired teacher, just to pitch her some sketchy detox tea she was sponsored by. Mrs. Higgins looked confused and was just trying to peacefully eat her scone. The absolute breaking point happened 20 minutes later. The local town newspaper sent a reporter over to take a nice, celebratory picture of my mom behind her pastry counter. The photographer politely asked everyone to clear the background. He raised his camera, counted to 3, and Brittany literally sprinted into the frame. She shoved her way right next to my mom, struck an exaggerated pose, and blocked my mom's face from the shot. The photographer sighed and politely asked her to step aside, explaining he needed a solo shot of the owner. Brittany dramatically rolled her eyes, flipped her hair, and loudly scoffed, "Well, I have a massive platform, so me being in the picture would actually be great exposure for her little hobby shop." Hobby shop. I saw my mom's shoulders drop. Her beautiful, proud smile completely faltered. That was it. The absolute, undeniable final straw. I saw nothing but red. I marched right up to Brittany, grabbed the center pole of her tripod, and collapsed it. She gasped out loud, acting like I had just committed a federal crime. I looked her dead in the eye and said it loud enough for the entire dining room to hear. "Brittany, literally nobody here cares about your social media. Nobody wants to buy your toxic tea. This woman gave up 30 years of her life to support us. And if you cannot stand not being the center of the universe for 5 minutes, you need to get out right now." The whole bakery went dead silent. You could hear a pin drop. Brittany turned bright red, snatched her equipment, and stormed out, loudly complaining about how toxic our family is. My aunt sent me a massive paragraph of angry text later that evening, calling me a horrible bully. But honestly, I do not care at all. Because later that same night, as we were sweeping up flour from the kitchen floor, my mom pulled me into a tight hug. She was quietly crying. She told me she had spent her entire life making herself small for everyone else, and nobody had ever defended her space like that before. Seeing the genuine, tearful pride in her eyes made every single angry text worth it. I would do it again, in a heartbeat.